Sometimes after you have a transaction recorded in QuickBooks, you actually need to make some kind of adjustment. It could be for lots of different reasons. Maybe you've provided somebody a discount. Maybe they have a special promotion that they want to take advantage of. Or maybe you just made an error in the original billing. Although we don't like to think about it, sometimes people also just want to return a product or a service. Unfortunately, when you're in business over a long period of time, that's bound to happen, at least once in a while. We simply need to know how to accommodate these adjustments within QuickBooks. In addition, we also need to know how to make statements. In this chapter, we'll talk about both making sales adjustments and creating statements so that you can adjust things the way that they need to keep your customers happy and your books correct, as well as providing information for your customers on a short-term or long-term basis so they can see the entire history of their account.
There are a couple of different ways that you can provide credits or discounts to your customers. I'm going to go ahead and continue working in the file that we've been working in. If you're just joining us, you can find this file in the Chapter 11 folder as well. What I want to do is I want to actually create a discount by using a discount item. So I'm going to move over to the Create Invoices link, give that a click, and I'm going to create a brand new invoice for one of our customers, Sharon Marsh. There we go. Now Sharon wants to have some training, of course, so we're going to use the item code, and let's say she's interested in some advanced word training. So far, this is what we've always done. We know what we can do with this. One option would be to come over and actually do the math right in this line item. Type in 225 times, say, 0.7 if we're giving a 30% discount. The problem with that method is it doesn't actually show us the discount. We can't keep track of how many discounts we gave. It just gives us less money in our receivables and those types of reports. So a better option is to use the discount item. And we created one when we were creating our inventory. I'm going to go ahead and choose that. We technically called it the certification discount. If you want to keep different types of discounts separate from each other, then you should create different items. In this case, I'm just going to change the description on it, and I'm going to say discount on word training. What I normally like to do with my invoices is I like to be very detailed. For example, it's not a big deal that you have to be worried about, but if you provide a discount to somebody, some judges, if it ever came to a small claims court, would say that unless you said it was a one-time discount, it actually created a contract that you were always going to give them that discount. You hear about that often with people who provide daycare and maybe give somebody a discount the first month, and then the person starts arguing that they thought they were going to get the discount for every month, and now, of course, they owe them more money. So you might put one-time discount on word training, or something else that just tells them that this is only a one-time thing. It's not something that they should expect all of the time. That's more of a legal kind of thing, though, but just a little idea that maybe you want to think about before you create your invoices. This discount was set up with a static amount, and it's come in at a negative $15. And of course, we could use that just the way it is. But remember that any item you create, when you actually use it in an invoice, it can be modified. For example, I just modified the description, and we can always do that. We also can modify the price or the percent. I'm going to go ahead and press my Tab key, and instead of the minus $15, I'm going to give her a 30% discount. I simply type in the 30%, press Tab, and now it's a negative $67.50. Also notice that I typed in a positive 30%. The computer knows that it's a 30% discount, so it changes it to a negative 30%. So that's one way to do this. I'll go ahead and save this invoice, lower right-hand corner, and that'll get us back to our normal screen. And the second thing that I want to do is show you that another option is to simply void an invoice. We've talked about this a lot before, and in QuickBooks, as well as a lot of other things, you really need to leave a so-called paper trail. Even though it's still electronic, we call it a paper trail. That means that I don't want to just go in and delete something. I want to have a record that Sharon originally ordered some training, we gave her a discount, and then for some reason she decided to cancel that particular order. That helps me internally to know what's going on, maybe some things that we can take a look at if we're getting too many cancellations. And it also provides something if I ever needed it in case of a small claims case or something like that. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and create the invoice again. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I can click the previous button and get back to Sharon's invoice. And then just like we can void or delete items and lists, we also can come to the Edit menu. We can delete an invoice. We can duplicate an invoice, memorize an invoice for later use, or in my case, I just want to void the entire transaction. When I click on void, you'll notice that everything I had is now zeroed out. They still show what was provided. Okay, it's still showing the original Word training and that I was providing a 30% discount. But if you look at the far right column, it's all zeroed out because the left column, which is the quantity, has also been set to 0. With this, I can go ahead and just save and close. It keeps the invoice, and it also keeps my record straight, because now I won't have a hole in the numbering and wonder what happened to invoice number 3. So it really is a better choice.